We are another team who could focus on developing this new game. So this is a co-publication between the two companies. So the team is made of three main people. Well, actually there are a lot of people involved in Mythic games. So Benoit is the author of the first Mythic Battle game. So Mythic Battle was released in 2012. And it was very well received. It sold out in Europe and America, but it was carried at that time by Yellow, and there was no Kickstarter back in those times, and so the game released without miniatures. And so after the big success of Conan, we said, okay, that's a perfect opportunity to develop a game with miniatures. And so this new game will use some of the mechanics from the first game. It's a brand new game, and it has minis in it, obviously. All right, so the game is set in ancient Greece. So everything you know about mythology is true, has happened. So all your references are there. You can use them and you can imagine it. Yes, Achilles went to Troy, and Odysseus had his Odyssey, and everything like that. But what we tell in this game is what happened next. And what happened next is that the Titans were released and launched a huge attack on Mount Olympus. And the gods, to survive, had to all gather, and this was a new Titanomachy. That's the name for wars involving gods and titans. So the gods won this fight, but they paid the price. A lot of them were killed, and they were reduced into some sort of crystallized energy that we call omphalos. This is a word that actually exists, and it is in the Greek mythos. And because all the gods were involved in this war, Hades no longer guarded the underworld. So some of the heroes could climb up the river Styx, and so they are reborn. And in this new post-apocalyptic world, because there was a big disaster that destroyed the world, you have hope, and now the gods will fight for the omphalos, because they've lost some of their powers because of this fight. They are no longer immortal, they can be killed, but if they absorb the omphalos, which are the relics of the dead gods, then they regain a little bit of their powers. If they absorb enough omphalos, then they will have their full powers back and can become the new king of gods. And this is the purpose of the game. You play one god. So this is a game that can be played in several modes. You have the first and obvious, it's from 2 to 4 players, and funny thing about the game is if you play 4 players, like 2 versus 2, it will be faster than if you play one-on-one. You have the skirmish mode, which means you don't need any preparation. You just put the map, you draft your army, and you play. This is the most obvious game, but you also have another mode, or other modes, and especially the campaign mode, which will be completely different. Instead of the traditional skirmish victory conditions, you'll have something completely different. It's more immersive, it's more RPG-like. You will leave several scenarios, and one scenario will have an impact on the others, and it's a more cooperative way of playing. It's a more narrative, immersive way of playing, storytelling. Each game only lasts 1 hour, and we wanted this to be, we didn't want the game to last 4 hours, so it's, and with all the playtests we've done, that's pretty much the standard playing time. So what are the purpose of the skirmish mode? As I told you, it's not the only way of playing it, but if you discover the game, it's probably the best way to start with. It's either to kill an enemy god. So if you kill one of the opposing gods, so if you're 2, you kill the one god in front of you. If you're 2 versus 2, you just have to kill one of the 2 gods. You instantly win. Another victory condition is to absorb 4 omphalos. The omphalos are the gems I told you about. So if you do that, you instantly win the game and it's over. And if you play 2 versus 2, it's the first team that combined absorb 4 omphalos. So, it's obviously a miniatures game. We have very, very good artists and sculptors in this game. We would like to say some of the best in the world. They come from a confrontation, and they already started working and doing a very nice job on Conan, but we have pushed this a step further. You have 4 different kind of units in this game. You have the gods. You each play one god. In the core box, you have 4 different gods. You have Ares, Zeus, Athena, and Hades. The gods are twice the size of humans. Then you have monsters, because when the Titans were released from Tartarus, the monsters who were there escaped also, so they are reborn also. So you can play Hydra, you can play Medusa, you can play Cerberus, you can play the Minotaur. So, and they're all in the core box. And they're big. Like Hydra, if you look at Hydra, this will be in the core box, and it's a huge monster. You have heroes, and as I said, because no one was guarding the underworld, some heroes could climb up the river Styx, and so you have Achilles, you have Heracles, which is the Greek name for Hercules, you have Odysseus, you have Leonidas and the Spartans, and you have Atalanta, a female hero. She is a fast huntress.
AKA Danger Zone.
So you'll see that the game plays fast. You play with cards and you play with dice. And you can do a lot of combos just like in Magic, because each character has their own power. And if you combine 2 different heroes, you can do a very good combo. So the game plays with cards. I told you, activation cards. You will get this in a short video that will show you right after that. You have dice that can re-roll. When you roll a 5, you re-roll. And there are environmental bonuses, because in the game you have a map. It will be cardboard, quadfold board. But you also have 3D terrain and 3D elements that plays a role in the game. Every 3D element will block line of sight, and they will also give you a little bonus. If you're in the forest, you have a +1 bonus against ranged attack, for instance. If you're on the top of the cliff, you ignore line of sight problems, and you have +1 range and +1 attack. But it's as simple as that. It's not complicated. And then unique powers. Each hero and monster have their unique powers, and those powers are exactly what you can imagine from the Greek mythos. So Zeus can has lightning, and Hydra regenerates, and Cerberus has multiple attack, and Medusa can petrify. So every Achilles is very hard he's almost invulnerable, very hard to hit, and so on. So the game starts with a draft. So that means during this draft you will add cards to your deck. So you build a deck based on one you could draft. Recurrence, once your pile is down, you reshuffle your deck and play it again, so you can activate your troops again. The honorable cards are strategic cards, very important and useful. They are the Joker cards. So with an Art of War cards, you can do special effects like using very strong powers, or drawing new cards, or pick up and search the one card you want, and many other different things. And it's a very strategic game, as you will notice, because we'll have a short game at the end. Let's get to the art. Well, the whole team combined, we have 62 persons working on this project, which makes it one of the biggest board game you've seen so far. We have world-class artists working on it, and we are very proud to have one of them here. Paulo Parente is here, and Paulo Parente was famous for his art on Magic: The Gathering, and then many other things. He drew his own comics. He's done amazing art for Dust Tactics also, which is another great miniatures game. And he's famous for drawing ladies, especially. And so here we have an Amazon called, well, it's kind of our Wonder Woman. No, she's called Pantheon. This is Artemis that you can recognize. So thank you, Paulo, for being here.
Thank you.
And Paulo is not only famous for that. He designs, well, he products one of the finest miniatures that you can see on the market. And he's the one that will produce our plastic miniatures. And the result is amazing. I just want to show you something. You cannot take pictures of this because it's, but it's just for you to see the result we'll have. This is a plastic cast, final plastic cast that we'll have in the game. And although it's a little dark, you can see the details on it. So we brought some new artists too. Here is Guillem, who is a Spanish artist. He works for ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and he will work on Jurassic World 2. He's as a main concept artist, and he's just amazing. Look at Scylla, look at Oedipus. Well, I'm not going to tell the tagline for Oedipus. So we have also Louis Puzy, who is a French artist, who worked on the first version of the game. So this is Atalanta, this is a Hell Warrior. And our main artist who designed, who drew the cover is Stefan Kopinski. Stefan Kopinski is an amazing artist who worked for Games Workshop and is famous for that. He's worked for some other companies, he's a freelancer now, and he was very much involved in this project. So you can see Odysseus here, the Minotaur, and yes, there are Athena and Medusa. And scale and sizes, as we told you, are important in this game, and you will see many different scales. This is the scale for the Hellhounds. This is the scale for normal human. This is a scale for monsters, small monsters. This is the scale for big monsters, and this is a scale for gods. So the minis are obviously a big part of the game. They won't come painted. This is just to show you what it does when you paint them. So yeah, the Amazon and some of the minis. Our painters, we have two painters, one who used traditional painting. Oh, and I forgot to mention that in the other presentation, but I'm going to do that. Now we'll have a painting guide that comes up along with the campaign book and art book that will all be combined into one book. So you will have the technique to paint from start each of the minis from the core box. And it's done by our expert painter, who's Martin Grandbart, who was the painter, one of the main painters from Braca. So he did this, for instance. Well, and we have great mob artists too, the same one as in Conan. So the maps you see, so this is the Styx, here is Olympus. So two maps in the core box, but when we reach stretch goals, we will unlock new maps. So instead of two maps, you'll have up to 4 maps. And then we'll have other maps in the expansions. So if we do a Poseidon expansion, obviously you'll have 2 other maps. One map with water, and one map with an island, where the Cyclops is, for instance, and the Harpies. And so you will get new scenarios and new rules, for instance, the sea rules, where you can have boats, and you play your heroes on those boats. Those boats can be destroyed, and then you stay under
Treading water?
Part of the shipwreck.
Yes, shipwreck. Yeah, shipwreck. Thank you. Okay, so just a few figures now. The Kickstarter will be launched in fall 2016. The base pledge will be 100 bahts. We'll have lots of stretch goals. And when I say lots of stretch goals, I mean it. And not just little minis. We'll have new gods, new monsters, sometimes very big monsters, new troops, new heroes. As I told you, there'll be thematic expansions like water, lava, maybe nature, something like that. And every time a new god comes in, and I think we're done. We're going to show you a little presentation of the game mechanics.
Hi, my name is Paul Grogan, and in this gaming rules video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of Mythic Battles Pantheon.
Alright, so we'd like to do a little bit of a game demo now.
Yeah.
We want a couple of volunteers who'd be up for playing. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to
Yes.
jump in.
Just if you have any questions. Yes.
I know it's like really early days, obviously, but have you ever thought of like potentially expanding into other ancient religions, like you get the Norse gods? and
Yes,
that kind of
yes,
demo?
absolutely. If this game is a success, then we will expand to other Pantheon, but it will be explained, and yes, you'll be able probably to fight if we do the Norse Pantheon, which is something we kind of have. That would be nice to have like Zeus against Thor. And,
That doesn't sound like any fun at all.
Yes, yes, yes. And also the game is competitive, so once, FFG is going to be our partner, so we will have organized play for this game, because it is possible. So, not on the scenario mode, but on the skirmish mode, obviously. All right. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll give you a short presentation of the game system. So we'll play a very short game, just for you to see. So we need two-person playing. So you wanna be? Yeah, you're here. You wanna play?
Sure.